that we rarely hear each other. Larry Sharpe has traveled the country and has personally visited every county in New York State, listening to people's concerns. The Sharpe Way is a show where answers, solutions, and common ground can be found so that together we can forge a new way forward. The Sharpe Way is the way to mutual respect, where no one has to convert to be heard, because you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want, as long as you aren't forcing your beliefs on others. Welcome to Sharpe Way Radio.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Way Radio here on the Voice of Liberty. 585-346-3000 is the number to call after the first break. And I was thinking about something when I was a kid. When I was a kid in New York City, growing up in the Bronx, very often we take the subway to places, right? If you live in New York City or have lived in New York City, you know, mass transit, big deal. Lots of people take subway or bus or something, mostly subway. But when I was a kid, to get in a subway, it was 50 cents. Yes, 50 cents to get on a subway. Why do I bring this up? Because now, as of other day, 2 days ago, it's $3. Now, I'm not so old. I mean, I'm old, but I'm not that old for it to go up by six times. That is how much this has gone up. Now, you might ask, was the service better when I was a kid? No, not much better. Maybe the same. Maybe it's a little bit worse now. Maybe. It's about, I think if I'm not mistaken, we're about 80% on time, give or take, right now in New York City. By 80%. Not bad. I mean, not great. But, you know, it's not. When I lived in Japan many years ago, there was a joke on how efficient the Japanese subway system was, train system. Literally, the police would say, when looking for a crime, oh no, that guy couldn't have done it because he got on the 415 train. And if he got on a 415 train and the crime was in a 416, it's impossible that he could have done it because we know the 415 left at 415 because it's Japan. Now, that's the exaggeration, obviously. But the concept was, trains run on time in Japan. By the way, private system, not government system, private system. But besides the point. Actually, exactly the point. Literally 6 times as much more money from when I was a kid to worse results. And here's the part that's even worse. We're still at a deficit. Why do I bring this up? Because the MTA is still failing people on a daily basis and not getting better. Now, Mamdani has walked in the door. Okay. Mamdani has entered the chat. Nice. He's going to fix it all with the, what do you say, the warmth of collectivism? Because that works. I guess it's warm if you're all living in one room together while you're burning your furniture because you can't afford heat. So I guess it could be warm in that specific situation. It could be, but that's what he's going to do. He's going to give us free buses. And when asked about the MTA and the problems and the rate hike that happened right on his watch, was that Kathy Hochul on purpose? Was that Kathy Hochul on purpose? Was that the city council on purpose? Welcome aboard. MTA hike. Good luck with that. Them free buses. The free buses program, according to him, is going to cost something like $700 million. We lose over $400 million, depending on who you talk to, somewhere between $400 and $900 million, an average of about $700 million, just to fare jumping. And we've spent all our time making new ways of people to pay Because the thought process is, well, if it's easier to pay, they'll pay. How instantly dumb is that? But it's not true. And actually not dumb. It's another way of spending money to get more people to put money into a system that's broken. Why do I bring that up? Because Mamdani is saying it's going to help us. Hochul is raising prices. And what's everyone talking about? Venezuela. Venezuela. Is that the important thing for you? Is that what matters for you? So if we take out the guy in Venezuela, you're going to be able to pay your rent now? If we don't do it, your kid's going to be able to read now? Oh, if we take him out, you're going to get a good job now? If we don't take him out, you're going to be able to retire here and not have to move to Florida? Yeah, it means nothing. As you've heard me say 1,000 times, it's distraction. And now Democrats are going to yell, oh, Trump's the evilest guy in the world. Shh, don't look. I just raised the MTA prices. Oh, Trump's the evilest guy in the world. Don't look. Shh. I can't give you free buses. I was lying the whole time. Or the reverse, Republicans. Oh, we got to do this. USA, USA, USA. Shh. I don't have an answer for healthcare. Or Republicans, yeah, USA, USA, USA. Shh. I have no chance of winning in New York State or changing anything. Don't be fooled by this. Don't be distracted by this. If you're happy Trump took out Maduro, he didn't invade yet. We might. If you're not happy that he did it, I want you to focus on something more important. As I keep talking about, your bills, your family, your community, your energy costs, those things. If Maduro is sentenced to a gazillion years, can your kid read? Or are you still leaving New York State? Or are you staying? If Maduro gets off scot-free and goes back to Venezuela, can you pay your rent? Can your friends stay with you? Don't get fooled by this distraction. Let them deal with their stuff. You worry about us. Don't distract. Don't let Blakeman, Hochul, whoever tell you, oh, this is so critical and Trump is awesome or Trump is evil or whatever story they're going to tell you. Don't buy it. Doesn't matter. What matters is what I'm telling you. Larry, you're more important than Trump and Hochul and Blakeman? Yes, clearly I am. Of course. Because I'm talking about stuff you care about. So yes, of course I am. Why are you listening if I'm not? Because you know I am. The stuff I talk to you about affects you daily, affects you monthly, weekly, yearly. A year from now, whatever mess Venezuela will be in, and it will be in a mess. I don't know what mess it'll be in. Will he be back? Will he be gone? Will we put a puppet in? Will they be in revolution? I don't know. But whatever mess they're in, here's what I guarantee you. Democrats will blame Trump. Trump will blame Democrats. Doesn't matter what the situation is. It will be bad because it's always bad. And when it's done, Trump will say, well, it's because Democrats. And Democrats will say, oh, because Trump. You can guarantee that. I'll bet money on it. So let us focus where we should focus on, which is still our homes, our communities, our counties, and our state. Yes, I'm dissing the entire thing. Yes, I am. Be mad at me if you want to. I don't care. Because I know a year from now, when I'm back here again, because I'll still be on the show a year from now. You try to get rid of me, but I'll still be on the show a year from now. And when I come back and I'll be like, see? You're like, Larry, you're right. Trump is blaming Democrats for the failure. Democrats are blaming Trump for the failure. Yeah, like I said. And did you elect me? And if you didn't, you still can't pay your rent. And your friends are still packing up and leaving. If you do elect me, that might change. Anyway, Why do I bring all of this up? Because we're paying for it. Yes, we're paying for a failed MTA. We're paying for a failed MTA. It is give or take about $20 billion every year. And it goes into deficit about $5 billion every single year. We need a bailout every single year. So we keep needing more money for crappy service. The federal government gives us 1/3 of our budget as a bailout every single year. And then on top of that, another $20 billion bailout every single year, which is debt and taxation, which you are paying for. So here's what I'll ask you. If you're going to go into debt, and I get it, some people are fine with debt. I'm not mad if you don't go into debt. But shouldn't you be going into debt to get an asset, to get an investment, something, right? Shouldn't you be going in debt for that? Buying your house or your car or something, right? I'm going into debt because I'm purchasing an asset, hopefully one that will either give me money or allow me to do things better so I can make more money in some way. I get a return on my investment. That makes sense. I'm not seeing that with the MTA. I'm not seeing that with Mamdani. I'm not seeing that with Venezuela. This is more of the same. That's why I titled this War, Collectivism, or Subway Fares. Which one's the most important? Subway fares. That's the most important. Because if you live in New York City, it affects you every day. If you live in New York State, you're paying for it every single year, again and again and again. Eventually, we'll stop paying for Venezuela, whenever that is. Eventually, Mamdani will be gone and we'll stop with the collectivism, whenever that is. The subway system's over 100 years old and going nowhere. I don't know, am I crazy here? Am I the guy who should be talking about Venezuela instead of New York State? You can tell me if you want to. 585-346-3000. Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty. Back with your calls and your chat after the break.
Bob Savage here again for Aaron Moore. You're probably trying to head off staggering heating bills this bitter winter without shivering and dressing in layers indoors. Good thing you can do what so many have discovered, that you can slash your heating costs this fall and winter with Aaron Moore infrared zone heaters while cranking down your furnace. Even better, Aaron Moore heat is quiet, clean, and even, and healthier. No burning of oxygen and particulates to dry out your nose, sinuses, and skin. And Aaron Moore heaters are completely safe for children and pets. No exposed hot surfaces or heating elements to pose shock or fire hazards. Choose the best-selling Comfort Deluxe or the compact Comfort Buddy for smaller areas. Enter discount code WYSL in your shopping cart and save. Free shipping in the continental USA. Copper PTC technology means there are no bulbs to replace ever. Built like a battleship, maintenance-free Aaron Moore infrared zone heaters are the way to really save on heating bills like we do at the Voice of Liberty. Call 800-707-8725 or visit air-more.com.
Hey, if you like history and you like airplanes, the National Warplane Museum in Geneseo, New York is the place to go. Tours, exhibits, events, vintage aircraft, and more. Visit nationalwarplanemuseum.com for more details.
Sharpe Radio on the Voice.
We have
of Liberty.
Keith.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Radio, the Voice of Liberty. 585-346-3000 is the number. We are talking about war, collectivism, and subway fares. All of them. Yes. Grab a quick comment if I could. Nosy says, it's always point the finger across the aisle. This is why there'll be no repercussions for whatever happens in Venezuela. Whatever happens. You can guarantee Trump will yell, Democrats messed it up. Democrats will yell, Trump messed it up. And they'll tell you to give them money because of it so they can get elected, because then we'll stop Trump or then we'll stop the Dems. You'll guarantee that will happen every single time. Ugh. All right, we're going to have a call if I could. This is Keith. Keith, how are you, sir?
Well, up front, I think you and I are going to clash. Getting
Okay.
rid of Maduro at least stops the drug traffic, but all those items that you were ticking off, and so far as if Maduro now in custody, you whomever, your life is not going to change. Your Twitter there was right, saying that both parties are to blame. Bad Democrat policy and protocol across the board, and willful ignorance on the part of Republicans. This spans, coincidentally, my lifetime, my birth year, 1955. So simple math, Keithy boy, in 7-0. Throughout my entire life, we've seen a decline because both major parties have willfully stabbed the American people in the back. And I'm going to give you a blatant example here of why things will not change. There was a killer here, 17-year-old punk named Jermaine. Last May, he had a restraining order. He went into the house of his 18-year-old girlfriend, shot her dead point blank, dragged her body out into the driveway. Everyone listened. He pleaded down to manslaughter and is now only going to be serving 2 to 6 years. 17-year-old shot his 18-year-old girlfriend, restraining order, didn't help her. She's dead. At the most, he will serve 6 years. I'm bringing that up in closing because the things that you ticked off have nothing to do with Maduro. Getting rid of Maduro will hopefully start the dominoes falling of the drug trade. So you're making a disconnect there when you say, taking Maduro into custody will not have any impact on your life. Hopefully it will start to get the drugs off the street. But what it does show up is that our society now is so bad that both major parties have mucked it up that bad, as with this 17-year-old killer getting only 2 to 6. Until that.
All right, let me cover a couple of things, Keith. Let me cover a couple if I could. Number one, I feel like you're actually part of what you're saying. We're agreeing completely, right? The idea of having better bail reform, better laws, allowing young women, in this case, young women, to defend themselves with firearms. All those things are local issues. None of them have anything to do with Trump or Venezuela. And that's what we're dealing with every single day. Both parties have abandoned us. And one of the biggest things in New York State is it's a one-party state now. So the Republicans have given up and the Democrats say, I do what I want. And to be forward, when it comes to Venezuela, okay, Trump did it. So whatever the outcome is, will be Trump's responsibility. Good or bad, he gains responsibility for it. I hope it's good. I don't think it will be because it never is. But if it is, he gets responsibility for it. But Biden was anti-Maduro too. Biden was like, oh, didn't Biden put he put a bounty on his head or something? So Biden wanted him too. So it's not like everyone didn't want this guy. I get it. But here's the next piece, Keith, here's why I think you're wrong. They always say there's a domino. They always say this is the thing. They are never right. They told us that in Korea. They told us that in Vietnam. They told us that in the Middle East. They keep telling us that. They always tell us that. I don't buy it. I don't buy it because it's never been true. And if Maduro goes away tomorrow, do the drugs go away tomorrow? If every time we've been fighting a war on drugs for what, 50 years now, more, and there's still horrible problems with drugs. We invaded Afghanistan, and there were still more drugs. There's less drugs coming out of Afghanistan after we left because the Taliban is actually more anti-drug. There's less, and we now have fentanyl instead coming from China. I don't think this is the answer, Keith. That's my response. I think the first part we agree upon. The second part, I don't buy the domino. I don't believe it.
Believe it or not, I'm 10,000% in agree with you. The dominoes never fall. The difference between Trump and Biden is that Trump finally pulled the trigger. If everyone should know, especially those of you who hate Trump, Trump was against this operation until he agreed to it. So you have to pull the trigger in life. The whole idea is that no matter how bad the mess, you have to start somewhere. And at least with this Trump administration, you can hate his guts to high heaven. But unlike Biden, Trump is starting to pull the trigger a little bit. A lot more has to be done. But in closing, when the problems are so big in our country as they are, you simply have to start somewhere. And you've got to give the guy credit for at least starting some. We have so much more to do. Our country now is so sad and pathetic and decline. Oh, my God, watch out, everyone. The dominoes will fall.
I will always give Trump credit where credit is due. I do. I've done it more than once. And you're right. If anyone's going to pull a trigger, it's going to be him. And again, I want to be very clear for those listening who may hate Trump. Biden was the same way. Biden, I forgot, was it 5 million? Whatever, he put a bounty on his head saying, we'll give you whatever millions of dollars if you can get rid of him. So Biden wanted him too. To Keith's point, Trump did pull a trigger. Okay, great. I just don't believe it's going to work. Anything that might work like this, if Keith is correct, and this is the domino effect, or if they're correct, I shouldn't say Keith, if they're correct and it's a domino, it's a 10 to 20 year plan for it to work. If it's going to work, I have zero confidence that the American government, with the brokenness that we are right now, could ever pull that off. But we'll see. Thank you for the call, Keith. I really appreciate it. Let me grab a couple of comments. I have a bunch of comments out there. So Sam says, the warmth of collectivism is the scariest thing I've heard in years. Blatant lie that far too many believe, despite 70 plus years of history. And this is a great point, Sam. Why? I mean, Keith just said it's his lifestyle. It's his whole lifespan. I'm not as old as Keith, but I'm getting there. And I know it too. I was in the Marine Corps when it was still a Soviet Union.
Alan.
So I'm with you. Why do they not believe it? It seems so obvious. Sam, because they're desperate for something. They've watched things fail for so long. They're desperate. And as crazy as some of the Mamdani ideas are, they're ideas. And warmth sounds nice. I want some of that. And it's, again, my whole thing. No idea or bad ideas. People take the bad idea, particularly when they're desperate. And again, a lot of the electorate now is younger. They don't remember the Soviet Union. They don't remember that. They didn't grow up in that.
We can save her for after the break.
So the problem they're going to have is they're often thinking, well, socialism, that's not Stalin. That's not Brezhnev. That's not that. That's not Mao. That's cool Uncle Bernie, hot AOC, and savvy, funny Mamdani. See, socialism is great. And I know some of you want to throw up when I say that, and some of you don't like that, but I think we can agree there's some truth to it. That's the point that I want to bring up. There is truth to it. John asks, does the MTA even alert people when trains later shut down? Here or there. That system doesn't work very well, but it does sometimes. So yes. John then goes on to ask, how many price hikes occurred when this subway was semi-privatized? This is a true story. The subway was privatized. And then at one point, it started with a nickel, by the way, 1904, I think, 1904, 1905, early 1900s. And it was 5 cents. At one point, like 15 years later, or something like that, whenever it was, 20 years later, they were like, can we go to 10 cents? I'm sorry, it was the 40s. It was during World War II. So it's like 30 years later. It became 10 cents. And the government said, well, FDR's president, so we could just take stuff. Because FDR was the I'm going to take stuff president. So they said, great, we'll take it. And that's when New York City took over, and it's exploded since then. So once the government took over, it exploded. The worst was during the 70s and 80s when I went the most. So I hope that answers your question. All righty, I have more calls, and I have more chat. I will absolutely grab them. It's Larry Sharpe here on the Voice of Liberty. Sharpe Radio, 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
Radio home of the Bonnies. Avon, Rochester, WLEA, WLEA FM, Cornell, New York. Canisteo Valley Update.
This morning in Bath, Steuben County Sheriff Jim Allard gave a commendation to Deputy Ryan Andrews. That's because Deputy Andrews saved 2 lives in Hornellsville during a recent arrest.
Okay, so we have Ellen, and then after Ellen, we have Mike.
Attempting to stab Deputy Hurd in the face. Deputy Andrews, who was right there, saw it, immediately disarmed him. They took him to the ground, handcuffed him, and took him into custody with no injury to either Deputy Hurd or to the suspect.
The sheriff says it might have ended differently.
In a deadly physical force situation like that, there's a number of things that can occur. And as Deputy Andrews is assessing what to do, time, distance, necessity comes into play.
And it goes without saying, the sheriff was impressed.
But Deputy Andrews' ability to assess, process, and immediately respond in a life and death situation was exemplary.
Brian O'Neill for the Voice of Liberty.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Mostly cloudy. We'll see temperatures.
Okay, so we have 3 calls in a row. First will be Ellen, then Mike, and then Jim. And Jim sounds interesting because he said he wants to know how he can help you run for governor.
30s, and then Thursday,
yeah,
a nice day in the 40s, and then maybe some rain near 50 Friday. I'm Rich Cornelia for the Voice of Liberty.
They're wrapping up a great year at Dansville Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where you can lease with Santa-sized savings. Get a new 2025 Jeep Wrangler Willis convertible, only $269 a month for 36 months, $53.83 down, 10,000 miles a year. And check this. Lease a 2025 Jeep Compass Limited SUV, just $249 a month for 42 months, $47.40 down, 7,500 miles per year. A new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo is just $299 a month for 42 months, $58.14 down, 7,500 miles per year. A 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn or Lone Star Crew Cab pickup, just $299 a month for 42 months. $57.03 down, 10,000 miles per year. Deals require lease loyalty, except Wrangler, which requires Stellantis loyalty. First payment, DMV taxes, fees due at signing. Eligibility conditions and exclusions may apply. See dealer for details. We welcome Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Hornell, Bath, Wellsville, Perry, and Warsaw. Come take a test drive at Dansville Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Franklin Street near the airport. Merry Christmas and happy 2026.
Normally, it's the highs that bring you joy, but with the new Advantage Home Equity line of credit options, our low rates will take your breath away. What's so breathtaking about it? The new Home Equity line of credit starts at just 3.99 introductory annual percentage rate for the first 4 months with no closing costs. After the introductory period, it can be as low as 0.5% below the prime rate. Go to AdvantageFCU.org to get the lowdown. Equal housing lender insured by NCUA. Membership subject to eligibility. After 4 months, variable APRs as low as 0.5% below prime. Call Advantage or see our website for details on credit costs and terms.
This is what happens when passionate people like you believe in our mission and support individuals with intellectual, developmental disabilities, and medical challenges. This is what happens when, together, as part of the Cariola community, we create moments of growth, and connections. Thank you for playing an essential role in the success of our students, residents, and staff. This is what happens at the Mary Cariola Center. Visit marycariola.org.
Military veterans, you deserve special honors at your life celebration when you pass. For all you did for your country, Bartolomeo and Parado Funeral Home feels privileged to use their network to arrange for military honors for all who've earned them. Flag folding, flag presentation, 21-gun salute, taps. Bartolomeo and Parado is here to make that happen for you. Call, make an appointment, start planning ahead with your advisors at Bartolomeo and Parado. 585-720-6000, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Long Agency Insurance.
Both Ellen and Mike said they'd keep it brief, so we'll see how it goes.
Insure local. From fair and honest rate comparisons to answering your questions and claims in a timely manner, the folks at Long Agency Insurance take pride in providing excellent customer service. That's why they were voted the best insurance agency in the Glow region by the Daily News. Call 658-3342 or visit longagency.com to get a quote today. Long Agency Insurance, insurance worth having, proudly representing Erie Insurance.
UR Medicine Wilmot Cancer Institute is proud to have been named a National Cancer Institute designated center, a distinction earned by only 4% of cancer centers nationwide. This prestigious designation recognizes groundbreaking research and cutting-edge clinical trials, offering our patients access to new treatments before they're available anywhere else. UR Medicine Wilmot Cancer Institute, advancing how the world treats cancer.
Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty.
Oh, yes, it is Larry Sharpe here on Sharpe Radio, the Voice of Liberty. 585-346-3000. I got a comment during the break asking about my travel this weekend. And yes, I will be traveling this week. If you want to come see me personally, you can come say hi to me. I'll be in Albany Thursday, January 8th at 6 p.m. at Druthers Brewing Company. Come see me there. Friday at noon, the VFW Post in Rome, New York. 6 p.m. that same Friday, the El Rancho Mexican Restaurant in Watkins Glen. Saturday, I'll be at Hyde's Diner in Cortland, New York. 2:30, Sloan's New York Grill, Oneonta, New York. 7 p.m. Saturday, Rustic Loft Pub and Grill in Amsterdam, New York. Sunday, I'll be at Green Witch Vape in Greenwich, New York. And 2 p.m. Sunday, Vitali Bar and Grill Vatali. Did I say? Velati. Got to say it right, New York. So yes, if you want to come see me there, happy to come see me there if you want to. If you want to check out what I'm doing, head up to my Facebook page or my YouTube page or any of my Twitter accounts. You'll see where I'm going to be. Let me grab a call if I could. This is Ellen. Ellen, how are you?
Good. How are you doing? And I met you once a long time ago at Avon Flea Market. You had a booth with somebody else, and you were talking politics, and it was great.
I'm so glad. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So you're fun to talk to. I wanted to say something, and I'm thinking, like, am I dreaming? I don't know. But I was listening to the Second Amendment show, which is on this radio station, WYSL. Mm-hmm. And Paloma Capana, who's the Second Amendment girl, then she moved down south. She got out of New York, but she fights for Second Amendment rights. She was saying something with Marley Hornick, who's fighting for our, against voting fraud all over the United States. Yep. And they were saying Elise Stefanik and them are going to get together, and they're going to come back to New York, and they're going to do something called Come Back to New York or Come Home to New York. And I thought, am I dreaming? Are they really going to, because they can affect things that are happening at the state level, she was saying, which is so important.
But I thought locally. Stefanik dropped out of the race. Is this a new nonprofit she's starting?
I have no idea, because I don't know if she was just like joking. Maybe someone else knows.
What would make sense so you guys would know, and this is how you check it. Stefanik raised about $2 or $3 million when she ran for governor. And people always go, she's got to give that money back. No, she doesn't. She didn't have to at all. But what she could do is put it into a political think tank or committee, which this could be. She could put it into that, to $2 million into this, and come back to New York. She could pay herself a salary and other people a salary and try to motivate people to come back to New York. Now, I'm not against the concept. The question is, what are you going to do? You can't just tell people to come back. Right now, There's no movement to change the Second Amendment. I'm the one running for governor saying the first thing you do when you become governor is you create a blanket pardon for any firearm possession crime. Blanket pardon immediately. If you get a possession charge, it is pardoned. Why? Second Amendment, Supreme Court has said that it's not a crime. Therefore, I make the state basically an open carry state overnight. What happens? DAs go nuts. Assembly goes nuts. We have to reboot all the laws, and we have actual conversation to fix the laws. Does she have something like that? If she does, she better call me up, and we'll get together and make this work.
Right. That's a great idea, because, there's not supposed to be any infringement on our guns.
Correct.
Gun rights. So, yeah, that would be great. Good idea. Get it out there.
All right.
I'll let you go. I know
here's
you got
what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you a favor. Reach out, See if it's true. If it is, tell them to reach out to me. I'm happy
Mike.
to work together with her. Happy to work out with her, okay? Thanks, Ellen. Let me grab another call if I could. This is Mike. Mike, how are you?
Larry. Hey, as far as keeping with the drugs, China's bringing in all the chemicals for the fentanyl and giving it to the cartels. So we need to eliminate that. That'll really help. Hey,
That's
as far as Moderna,
gonna be tougher to go get knock the Chinese out. That's a tougher one.
well, we could actually reach into Mexico and show them the boots. All right. But speaking of Mexico and Maduro, all right, and Bibi Netanyahu, isn't it every time Bibi shows up to the White House or Mar-a-Lago, one of Bibi's critics gets eliminated? Okay, Maduro's been. I don't know if you have ever listened to Maduro's speeches. Maduro's been ripping on Bibi for quite a while.
He has.
Okay.
Maduro was he's very anti-Netanyahu. You're correct.
Okay, just coincidentally, they just take Maduro out. Okay, Bibi was in the White House for Christmas, Christmas/Hanukkah. You know, and what day was the original day that they were supposed to take out Maduro? Oh, you know.
Are you okay?
Yeah, you
now
know
you're
what
making
I'm
me
thinking.
think. You're making me think, Mike. You think that's real? See, here's my worry, Mike. Is
nothing
my
that matters
worry is every
in the
single
grand scheme of
time something bad happens, I got somebody telling me it's Netanyahu. Now that doesn't mean it isn't, but I feel like there's so much every time something happens, it's Netanyahu, that we're going to be at a point where it's the boy who cried wolf. And when it is Netanyahu, no one's going to believe it because every time it's supposed to be Netanyahu, unless it actually is every time Netanyahu. Is that what you're saying?
Right. I'm just pointing out. It's kind of a coincidence. Is it the fact? I have no idea. It's just coincidental. I don't know. You know, but I think there's more. There's so many strings to this. You know, to the spider's web. You know, of the politics of the Chinese building infrastructure in Venezuela. Let's say it's oil, and it's just not oil. It's the minerals. People don't realize Venezuela produces 12% of the silver in the world. Okay,
Venezuela
and
has
they've been
a
under
whole
embargo.
lot of resources. You're right. A lot of resources.
Silver's been declared a national strategic metal. Okay, so all right, that's all I just want to point out. Hey,
thanks, Mike.
Have a good day.
I appreciate it. All right, let me grab one more call here if I could. This is Jim. Jim, how are you, sir?
Hello.
Hey, Jim. How are you?
Hey, Larry, how you doing? This is Jim
I'm
from
doing
Danville.
good. What's going on?
Hey, all I got to say is you're one of the only people in politics that actually makes sense.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
what can I do to help? I have a lot of friends in both parties, Republican, Democrat. I'm independent, which New York State doesn't allow independents, so I have no party.
Yep, I
what
know the
can
feeling.
I do to help? What can I do
There's
to
several
help?
things to do, my
Yard
friend.
sign, bumper
Number one, head
sticker.
over to my website if you want to and volunteer. It's important. Reach out to the website with an email because we want to put together events. If you can get people together with me in a room, I'm happy to have this conversation and make things happen. Events and help out. Events are a big deal. You know, I travel around the state. Ellen told me she saw me at one of my events. You've seen me in Danville before. I'm out there doing things that I can. I will visit people. I will go say hi. I'm actually campaigning. And here's the funny part. I am the only person running that's not being paid by the government to run. Kathy Hochul is supposed to be running our state. She's getting paid for that while she runs for office. Blakeman's supposed to be running Nassau County. He's being paid by the state so he can campaign. I'm not.
Yes, I've lost faith in the New York State Republican Party, big time.
You're not the only one.
I have completely lost faith, and I think I think to save our state, you're the man. You're the man.
Thank you, brother. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I am actually, I think I mentioned, I'm considering just taking the Republican line, just running in a primary and winning it. The Republican establishment does not like me. That's true. They don't. The Republican voters, they like me. So they might vote for me. I hope they will. Thanks for the call, Jim. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. I appreciate the, I don't usually talk about my campaign here unless people ask me. I'm here to talk about New York State and to support the amazing Voice of Liberty here. WYSL, so great having me here. I really appreciate it. So, any case, guys, it's Larry Sharpe. Sharpe Radio, the Voice of Liberty, 585-346-3000. Here with your calls and more of your chat. I see you. I'll grab it after the break.
Debunking advertising from the law office of Christopher Johnson. One ad some injury attorneys inundate you with, "What's your case worth? Call us and find out." You know, nobody can tell you, quote, what your case is worth over the phone. Nobody knows. The ultimate answer to, quote, what your case is worth involves weeks or months of research, evaluation, and preparation. Many factors go into any compensation you might get, like applicable law, who's actually at fault, how much insurance coverage there is, and many, many other factors. At the law office of Christopher Johnson, the singular focus is getting your life back on track after an accident or injury. That takes money, and it helps when the advice and legal advice you get has a one-on-one focus informed by straight talk. Christopher Johnson, attorney, car, truck, motorcycle accidents, personal injury, and DWI defense. Call 585-415-3803. 585-415-3803.
The youth of our city are in a new crisis. Criminal justice reform has created the consequences of no consequences and generated a whole new generation of 12 to 17-year-old kids committing serious crimes. Never before have we had this level of youthful offenders, but 90% of these kids are just trying to do the right thing and need a safe sanctuary.
Can we have Roger?
That's Rochester Youth for Christ. You can be a part of this solution by giving generously and regularly at yfcrochester.org/donate.
Sharpe Radio on the Voice of Liberty.
Oh boy, it is Larry Sharpe on Sharpe Radio, the Voice of Liberty. Thank you for giving me a small chunk of your afternoon. I do want to grab a couple of comments here. Shelley says, Republicans want you to take the line. I hope they do. That would be amazing. See if the establishment lets me in. We'll see. D over on Rumble says, hashtag take the line. There we go. I should be taking this line. Maybe I should. It sounds good. I do like the idea of it. Having 3, 4, or 5 lines is not a bad idea. So, yeah. All righty. Let me grab a couple more of these if I can. There's so many of you guys going back and forth. I love it. Daydreamer's teasing. He says, the New York subway, forget about it. That's actually funny. Sadly, we kind of have. So, yeah. Merlin says, deregulate cannabis like onions into the fierce, scary opponent to big oil and big pharmaceutical companies. Yes. Hemp is a big deal. In fact, Merlin, I'm going to be creating, I'm not joking, a cannabis czar. Cannabis, hemp, growing throughout New York State, not just for, obviously, cannabis products, not just for that. That will be one part. But you're right. We can make fuel. We can make concrete, plastics, things that are so much better and natural with hemp and cannabis. 100%, you're correct. Let me grab a call if I could. This is Roger. Roger, how are you?
Hey, Larry.
What's going on?
All right, so, Larry.
Yep.
All it takes is a simple Google search to just ask Google, from what country do most of the drugs come from that flow into the United States? It will always tell you China, Colombia, and Mexico, okay? Not Venezuela. That's one. Number two, you know who else has a history of bringing drugs into the country?
Tell me.
Our own government, the CIA and the DEA. Okay?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's not just what Gary Webb uncovered with the whole Iran-Contra thing and all that. It's still going on, okay?
Yep.
Number 3, may I remind everyone, one of the reasons why Trump won the Republican nomination in 2016 was because he said that he was moving away from this whole Bush doctrine of regime change strategies and wars and conflicts. That was the whole reason why Tulsi Gabbard got on board with him in the first place. Now they silenced her. Okay.
True.
4, all this regime change nonsense, that's going to make better for the people of that country. How that work out for Libyans, Iraqis, Congolese, Ukrainians, Egyptians, and watch just how it works out for Syrians. Our country left those countries in worse shape than they had found it. Then what happens is they all come flooding our borders because our country destabilized their government. Okay? People got to stop buying this government propaganda just because your guy is in office, so you want to look the other way, and like we've already learned this stuff.
Let me grab a couple of these people. You gave me a lot, Roger. Number 1, I'll try to go from back to front if I can remember. Number 1, you're totally correct. If Biden had done this, Democrats would love it, Republicans would hate it. You're totally, and Biden, if this is to Keith's earlier point, Biden didn't want to pull a trigger. Trump did. But Biden thought exactly the same way, right? So this isn't Republicans' bad thing. This is Trump said, what the hell, I'll do it. That's the difference. If Biden could have done it, or if Biden actually wanted to gamble on it, he would have done it too. And then Democrats were like, yeah, that's the right answer. And Republicans were like, oh, boo, Biden, right? Whatever. But Biden didn't take a chance of failing like freaking Afghanistan failed so bad, so he didn't bother doing it. But he would have done it too. You're totally correct. This is a bipartisan peace. Absolutely true. And you're right. It's not about drugs. Of course it isn't. Now, unless Keith's point, the domino theory, if someone believes that theory, but I'm with you. I don't buy that theory at all. It's probably about the petrodollar more than anything else, just like Libya was about the petrodollar. That's probably what it's about. The CIA and the DEA don't care about drugs. They want drugs coming in so they have a job. And that's why they put them in. So yes, and all those things. And here's the thing. If you support Trump, I would tell you, if you have any influence on him, get him out of DC and get him in with the people. He is losing his coalition like there's no tomorrow. If you go back a year ago, he had a coalition of a lot of people who supported him. Now it's just Republicans. And that's not enough for 2026. That's not enough for New York State, for sure. And it's not enough for the nation. If the Republicans want Trump to still have power, he needs to rebuild that coalition. And this kind of stuff, to your point, Roger, all the anti-war movement is in the independent parties. That's where it is. And Trump had that a year ago. They were all about him. Now, a lot of independents walked away. You just heard our last caller, Jim. He's like, I lost. I'm not with the Republicans anymore. That's more and more common. Libertarians are walking away from the Republicans now. The Maha people, Tulsi people, they're all like, wait a minute. This is not what we voted for. So I think you have a very valid point, Roger.
They're having a Bernie moment that we had. They're having a Bernie and AOC moment that we had on our side.
What's our side? You mean Democrats?
Yeah. Like those of us who were Democrats, and then we saw how Bernie and AOC betrayed us. So a good portion of us left the Democrat Party and became independent. Some of us still stayed because they still think the Democrat Party can be reformed, and we're like, nah, get out of here with that. Find some third party and independent people and put them in there.
Right. There we go.
So,
Thank you so much for the call, Roger. I appreciate it. I think it's a valid point. If you're someone listening and you don't care about Trump, you should be happy he's sitting in D.C. being surrounded by neocons. Good idea, I guess, if you like that. If you actually care about Trump, get him to get out. When Trump is out with the people, that's when he's strongest. That's when he begins to understand what the people are. He gets it, and he begins to move forward. When he gets stuck in D.C., he gets stuck in that swamp, you get this. This is how it works. And every single time, he needs to get back out. Again, for those of you if you don't like Trump, then you should be happy what he's doing. If you like Trump, you should be saying, get out. Get back on the campaign trail. That's when you're good. Do what you do well. Get out there and do your thing. He's good. So, Lemon Bomb says, evidentially, today is the special deadline for contributions to Larry Sharpe's campaign. Let's step up. Oh, thank you guys. Today is the last day if you want to donate for my report. I report every quarter. Today's the last day for Q4 of 2025. So if those of you want to help me out, yes, please, LarrySharpe.com. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. That is true. But you can still keep going if you want to, just for this report. I appreciate that. Mike says, if he doesn't want to face impeachment trials in 2027, he needs to rebuild that coalition. Mike, you are right. That is a serious concern. And look, I've been very vocal in my complaints about Trump. I do not want an impeachment trial. I'm one of the crazy people. And you guys were here when I said it. When Trump was elected, I said, I hope he's successful. I said that about Biden. I mean, clearly it did not work. But I would like our president, whether it's Biden or Trump or Obama, or I don't care who it is, Bush, I want our presidents to be successful so that we can be successful. I know it's crazy, right? Hot take. But it's true. I don't want Trump to fail. I didn't want Biden to fail. But Biden did fail. Trump, we don't know yet. It doesn't look good. This is not good. If his coalition collapses, you are correct. You're going to see there be the people who were with him will either walk away and let Democrats get him tied up in this stuff, or they'll jump on board because they're mad. They're going to feel like they were betrayed, and they're going to jump on board. Yeah. All righty. Robert says, Republicans are bad. And just because Democrats are also bad doesn't mean we shouldn't be able to acknowledge that. Both parties are terrible. That's funny. I like that. It's true. Yes. Gracie says, Lindsey Graham was the happiest I've ever seen him after Maduro was captured. Look, Lindsey Graham, one thing I'll give him, that guy is the most open neocon warmonger ever. He's open. He's like, yes, I am in. I am in. Phil says, I didn't realize that Donald Trump was going to police the world like Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. Here's a piece I want to, this is a tease, but I used to always tease Obama and say, this guy's great. He's the only guy who won a peace prize by bombing 7 countries. Top that. Who can get a peace prize when you bomb 7 countries and bomb weddings and drone strike American citizens, Obama? And you got a peace prize? Nicely done. Maybe Trump. Trying to beat him on this one too. Start a couple wars, keep some wars going, bomb some people, and get another peace prize. Maybe he is. What keeps happening is the same thing. And we have to stop falling for it. Guys, I want you to focus on your own communities more. Your own states, your own counties and municipalities. It matters more. It's where we're going to fall back to when you know what hits the fan. Guys, thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all very soon.